What is up? Hey, hey, what is up? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. We're back. Sorry for being MIA for the past week and a half. Been sick, blah, blah, blah. But hey, look who's back on track. Okay, today we're going to recap last night's games. A lot of emotional returns, with Brad Marchand and John Kelly. And we got 10 games to recap and the current events around the National Hockey League. And I would like to give a quick shout out to my U16 single A team, the Junior Panthers, and shout out to my players Bryce, Jackson, etc. I don't have the whole list in front of me, but hey, you guys get your shout outs like in other episodes and tomorrow as well. All right, listen up. So, first game I want to talk about last night is the return of Brad Marchand. Made his debut as a Boston Bruin on October 21st, 2009. 16 years later, made his triumphant return as a Florida Panther in the city that he played for 16 years and winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, what an emotional game that was for him. And hey, the dude got 2 assists. He was very effective as he is, and he is a bona fide leader. With Barkov out of the lineup and Chucky out of the lineup, Brad Marchand is basically the interim captain of the Florida Panthers. And this was a wild game. I gotta tell you, this was one of the wildest games and outcomes. And the Panthers had a 2-0 lead in the first two periods. Then Boston ties it up. Then they take the lead, and then the Panthers, the Panthers had the lead. Then Bruins tied up, and it was empty. And I'll tell you, we all thought this game was going to go to overtime. We all thought this was going to go overtime. Carter Verhaeghe hits the post and bounces off of Andrew Peak. And Beaker was trying to clear the puck. Oh my fucking God. Can you believe this? Can you believe that, it bounces off of him and the Panthers win the game with seconds left in the third period. So the Panthers get a very valuable win, their first road victory of the season. The Panthers, they started out 3-0 in their first three home games, and then and the long road trip they had for like a week and a half. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. That was dreadful to watch. It was dreadful. I mean, you lose to the Philadelphia Flyers, you lose to the Detroit Red Wings, you lose to the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, easy victories, but hey, the injuries are affecting this team, and I gotta tell you, I mean, the Panthers gotta win on the road. All right, let's just be happy with that. It was probably I don't know. It was probably a one of the most torturous road trips in recent in the Paul Maurice era. I mean, it wasn't as bad as everybody thought it would be, but boy, that was just excruciating. And then losing to the Devils as well. I mean, doesn't help, but the Panthers are going to be back home. They're playing against the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night in Sunrise, and Saturday against the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, I gotta tell you, the Panthers, they're buzzing, but it's early in the season. They're at 500. Let's just say that they're at 500, and at the end of the day, I think this team will be fine. I mean, like I said, injuries, but the team has got a lot of adversity early on in the season. And now I would love to talk about one of my favorite new rookies in the NHL, Matty Schaefer of the New York Islanders, number 48. This dude is a phenom. I mean, 7 points in 6 games. He's in an elite company for his first 6 games in the NHL. 2 goals, 5 assists. Last night, goal and assist against the Sharks. This kid is a dynamo, like he loves playing in front of the Islanders faithful and Isles Nation. This kid is a superstar. I remember back in 2009, the Islanders had the debate between drafting either John Tavares or Victor Hedman, and they took John Tavares, and the Lightning took Victor Hedman. And vice versa, years later, Tavares, he's basically one of few players like Mark Messier, Ronnie Francis, and Wayne Gretzky of 500 points each with those two with different teams. And now Victor Hedman's staying with the Lightning his entire career, and he's been a bona fide superstar and a legendary defenseman for his entire career. Now the Islanders have that superstar in Matty Schaefer. I mean, it's too early to call a rookie of the year, but he is in an elite class. This guy can play, man. I mean, he reminds me of Nick Lindstrom and Scott Niedermayer. Unreal. This guy's just a phenom. I mean, at first I was like, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome. And I was a little concerned because last year he had some injuries and illnesses, and I thought he needed another year of junior hockey. But this dude is like like advertised. This kid is a superstar. And I mean, it was a smart move trading Noah Dobson. And we all knew that Dobson was gone and getting Matty Schaefer in the lineup. This kid is buzzing. I mean, he breaks ankles out there. He is smart. His IQ is through the roof. Unreal. This guy is going to be a superstar for many years to come. I mean, you're in a class of like, Dennis Potvin, Ken Morrow, and you had Sedano Chara, but that was like early on, but wasted all the years. But there's a catalog of defensemen, and I'll tell you, this Matt Schaefer is the kid's a superstar. He's humble, he's hardworking, he's got a lot of energy. Hell, the entire team would have loved to have him bunking in with any of the families, but ultimately chose with Matt Martin and his wife Sydney. And I'll tell you what a first class kid this is going to be. This kid is going to be a superstar. He's a phenom. I mean, wow. You got to say that, he's the third number one overall pick. We're talking like in the OHL draft of the Erie Otter history. He was in the same class with Ryan O'Reilly and Connor McDavid. And now, I mean, this kid is special. We're talking special here. I mean, he's in a class with Aaron Ekblad, Connor Bedard, McDavid, Sidney Crosby, exceptional player status quo, number one in major junior draft, and number one in the NHL draft. This kid has an unlimited ceiling. I believe this New York Islander squad, they're exciting to watch. They are an exciting team to watch. And I mean, they are fun when they have a future superstar. This kid is matured, humble. I mean, I can't stop talking about him. He is a natural. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't be surprised that he makes it to the Olympics with Team Canada this year. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised it will happen. I mean, he's making a bold statement out there. He is just a phenom. All right, now, so recently, the Utah Mammoth, new mascot, Tusky, and on their first home games of the season, first four home games, undefeated. Clean sweep at the Delta Center. The mascot's undefeated. Cutter Gauthier, just Gunter Gauthier, whatever. I'll tell you, this kid is a clutch phenom. His release is unbelievable. And he's clutch, that OT winner last night, unbelievable. Clayton Keller, Logan Cooley. This squad is special. I mean, Sergachev helping the young guys on the back end with Ian Cole and Marino. I mean, just unreal. And I love their owner, Ryan Smith. He is born to be an owner. He's young, he's exciting. He is something that, a small market like, in the state of Utah with all that money in the world, he's making it fun and he's exciting. He's one of the most popular owners in sports right now. He brings the swagger, brings the energy. And I'll tell you, this Utah Mammoth organization, I mean, not too long ago, they were mediocre with uncertainty of a crossroads in the Arizona Coyotes. I mean, Arizona's going to get a team again, but listen, this was the smartest thing that the NHL ever did. Kick that con artist, Alex Maloro, to the curb And now you've got yourself an owner who is willing to build a contender from scratch. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised this team has deep playoff runs in the near future. I mean, this is an exciting team. The Utah Mammoth are an exciting team. I got to tell you, Colorado Avalanche, Cal McCarr, superstar. He is a phenom. Nathan McKinnon, superstar. Gabriel Landeskog back in the lineup. I mean, this Colorado Avalanche team is going to be a deadly team as well. I mean, it was a hard fought battle. I love that this rivalry. It's the Rocky Mountain rivalry between Colorado and Utah. I mean, I love it. I simply love it. What up? What up? So then I gotta tell you, Jack Hughes is on fire. I mean, last night, hat trick against the Maple Leafs. It's crazy. He was born in Orlando, Florida, and he grew up in what city do you want to see another team? Atlanta, Houston, Phoenix. Those are the big three. And then the last one, I have no idea. I gotta say, if you put an NHL team anywhere, Kansas City, Quebec City, or Austin, Texas, the player pool is not diluted and watered down. It's the markets. You got to find the right place and the right geographical location. The NHL wants to get to those big three markets of Atlanta, Houston, Phoenix, but they need to find a common ground, a compromisable market that is willing to host an NHL team. But yeah, so I want to go back to Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes, born in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, my old friend Sky Piper says I miss those days in Harbor Springs with Craig Cox and Ryan Chaplain. Oh yeah, I miss those days too. It's not the same, man. It's not the same up there as it used to be. Since I'm in South Florida, it's not the same like we all grew up with back in the day. So anyway, the reason why I'm doing this live on my Gtron 3 on 3 account instead of my 2 minutes in the box account because the idiots in Instagram thought I was, abusing the system, being live too much, and they just took it away. But I don't know what the hell's their problem is, but who cares? All right. Yeah. So, Hughes, he's technically a dual citizen, but he's representing USA. And I'll tell you, what a performance last night. Nice slap shot, as the second goal. And he is on a mission to stay healthy. He is that number one pick. He's the like the center version of Patrick Kane, but I feel that he needs to stay healthy. He's been injured on and off with his shoulders and stuff since the beginning of 2019, when he got drafted and all. I got to be honest, this right here is going to be a new, like, I just hope he stays healthy. And I really like the way he plays. And, he's electrifying. He's exciting to watch. And, hell, I would love to have, Quinn Hughes on there. You already got Luke on the back end. Hell, I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that happen. And yeah, so in Toronto, it's going to be an interesting couple weeks because you've got the World Series, with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. The Maple Leafs are trying to make accommodations to make sure everything is going to be on the up and end. Yeah. So, yeah, now we've got to talk about Sidney Crosby and his Pittsburgh Penguins winning against the Vancouver Canucks. 5-1. Sidney Crosby, he's got the most points now as a Pittsburgh Penguin all time. That includes, with the playoffs, breaking Mario Lemieux's points of all time. Chris Letang, 600 assists. I mean, unbelievable. This Penguins team is not bad. I'll tell you, what a dub. That was one heck of a game yesterday. And I'll say it was 5-1. It was a 5-1 game. I was impressed. I was straight up impressed by Pittsburgh. And I tell you, this team is just unbelievable. And Solvas is unbelievable. A beautiful way. What a beautiful way to beat your former team. I don't care about the what's that I got to do. Panthers will beat the Penguins tonight. Obviously, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised this thing goes to overtime. Florida needs to get the deal done. But let's just put it this way. Pittsburgh, they're on a roll, man. They're 5-2. I know it's early in the season, but come on, people. Come on. You know, Florida's 4-4. I mean, it's anything is possible. We're early in the season, straight up early in the season. Yeah, and I'll tell you, Sidney Crosby, man, he's going to be playing till he is like in his 50s. I mean, this is how good Sid the Kid is going to be playing for a long time. He just needs a young apprentice, and it's going to be a generational type of thing. But god damn, wow. We're talking, Pittsburgh's got their big three still for now, but it's an uncertain of what's going to happen with the Evgeny Malkin. And listen, Sidney Crosby is going to be a Penguin for a long time. And looking at the numbers, it's unreal. The Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they are a team that is Pittsburgh Penguins. They are going to be, yeah, I still think they're going to be. The trade deadline is not until like March. All right. The trade deadline is not till March. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And going back to the statements right here. So with the Pittsburgh Penguins, what a game for Sidney Crosby. He is basically combined points, 1896 points, regular season and playoffs combined. Unbelievable. And now Letang, he's basically got Hall of Fame credentials, became the 20th defenseman in NHL history, recording 600 assists. And he's now 4 active defensemen, along with Erik Karlsson, Brent Burns, and Victor Hedman. That is elite we're talking about here. That's elite we're talking about. Simply just unreal, guys. I'm telling you, unreal. Sidney Crosby breaking records, breaking records. No wonder he's chosen to be the next one. I mean, yeah, if it weren't for the concussions, Sidney Crosby would eclipse the records by now, and I wouldn't be. Gordo, Winter Sports Park meetup this winter. Let's just see if I can bring my gear up. You know, let's just see if I can bring my gear up. Hopefully I can. If I can't, you know, I might just bring in some crappy skates, I guess. But yeah, what a night for Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang. All right, now we got ourselves another like welcoming home party. John Kelly, the former broadcaster of St. Louis Blues, spent 21 years as the St. Louis Blues play-by-play announcer. Stanley Cup champ. His father, Don Kelly, part of the St. Louis Blues. And, and I'll tell you, St. Louis Blues, I don't know why the FanDuel kicked him to the curb, not renewing his contract. He was beloved and liked. He was one of the top 10 broadcasters. And I'll tell you, that's their loss. But because all these sports networks these days, they just want to be like, okay, they want to do the simulcast type of way instead of having a separate entity of broadcast television and radio. Now they just want to do a one-off type of hybrid. That sucks. It just sucks now, And I'm glad that John Kelly, went to the Tampa Bay not the Lightning. He was with the Lightning from their inaugural year to 95, and he was part of the Colorado Avalanche from 95 to 04. And I'll tell you, him going to the LA Kings, what a reward. But I support this one instead of Kroenke moving the Rams back to LA. Yeah, I was pretty bummed. And he was well liked. I just not a fan of that whole like, oh yeah, we're only gonna do like a simulcast instead of like having two different identities. Teams are being cheap and all that stuff. That's stupid. I'm not a fan of that, guys. I am not a fan of seeing, like a one like a play-by-play doing TV and radio, like a simulcast. I'm not a fan of it. I am not a fan of it. Sorry to say this, but no, thank you. You know, I like the radio side, because, you know, if we get annoyed by the national broadcasting side of things, always mute the TV and listen to the play-by-play guys on the radio so they can cover up all the noise and all that stuff. And yeah, and we got other news. Connor McDavid scored his first goal of the season, and the Oilers win against the Sens 3-2. And we got the Capitals winning 4-1 against the Seattle Kraken. And I'll tell you, Ovi's getting close. He's getting close to getting 900 goals. Good for him, but he didn't do anything on the score sheet last night. And oh yeah, he got an assist though. He got an assist though. He's still active. And the Anaheim Ducks, this Anaheim Ducks team is a different team from last year. Having Joel Quenneville behind the bench, a major upgrade, one of the greats, controversial return, and it's going to be a very interesting but awkward return for the Ducks. The current head coach Joel Quenneville coaching against the former team he previously coached, the Florida Panthers, on Tuesday and Sunrise. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little weird though, but I gotta tell you, the Ducks are a very exciting young team. Leo Carlson, they've got Kreider, rejuvenated. You got Cutter Gauthier, Jacob Truba. I'll tell you, and Brett gets Senke. Oh my God, and Russ Johnston, he was on fire last night. He got about, let's see, about 3 points. Russ Johnston, of all people, the enforcer, 3-point night. Who would have saw that coming? Man, it's not on my bingo card. I mean, geez. And then, we got Columbus beating Dallas 5-1. No surprise there. And that right there is all the games that we are going to be talking about because we got 3 games on tonight. But here's the thing, though. We're going to see a nostalgic rival return this Thursday night. We're seeing the Colorado Avalanche and the Carolina Hurricanes playing against each other, but they're going back to a way back throwback. The Hartford Whalers against the Quebec Nordiques. I love this, but it's a big middle finger to Hartford and Quebec. I mean, I get it, they're paying tribute and everything else, saying like where they came from, forgot where they came from their roots and all. But yeah, I gotta tell you, you know, it's cool to see the Nordique jerseys and the Whalers jerseys, but can somebody get rid of the ads on the jerseys? I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow, ads on jerseys and all, but get rid of the ads. It's just ruining the art, it's just another clickbait cash grab. I'm just had enough, it's like not fun, you're ruining the art. Keep that crap in the minor leagues, in the top tier European leagues. It's stupid. It is straight up stupid. And yeah, we got 3 games tonight. We got the Minnesota Wild against the New Jersey Devils. You got the Detroit Red Wings against the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens and the Calgary Flames. Yeah, right here, guys. I'll tell you, the Red Wings are on a roll here. What up, Brett? What up? Ha ha. What up, brah? Good to hear from you. Oh, yeah. So we got a very interesting nationally televised game. The Red Wings, the Iser plan is working. So all you impatient idiots in Detroit and Michigan and Hockeytown fan nationwide complaining about Eiserman's plan. Hey, it takes time. You can't rush through things. Look at the Buffalo Sabres. They try to rush through their rebuilds, and they've been through 3 different rebuilds right now. They haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. I mean, I don't know who's worse, them or the New York Jets. They're just god awful. I mean, Terry and Kim Bagula, they know what they're doing with the football team. I think they got their hands too deep into the hockey team and they got too involved and made a lot of losses in their trades. I mean, if they were a competent front office and they knew what the hell they were doing, let's put it this way. The Buffalo Sabres, they could have won a cup by now. They had the talent, they had the depth. You had Jack Eichel, you had Sam Reinhart, you had Ryan O'Reilly, you had a very deep depth team, and you guys just threw it away and just got terrible in the process. I mean, you refuse giving Jack Eichel that surgery. Jack Eichel is the best player in the NHL. What the hell were you guys thinking? You didn't want to give him the surgery, and then now he's in Vegas. He's like the face of their team. You know, if Jack Eichel had to do it all over again, he would have basically played a couple more years of college hockey and re-entered the draft. And guess what happens? He gets picked by Vegas, and then you know what the Sabres would have done? They would have gotten an entire draft class, to make up for their incompetence and failure. That's how bad the Buffalo Sabres are. I mean, you've got a good team, but why can't they make the goddamn playoffs? You know, you can see these fans' frustrations. They're saying like they hate this team. They hate this team. I mean, come on, people. Come on. It's just brutal, guys. It's just a brutal, brutal thing. I mean, look at the Red Wings. They're 5-1. They finally figured it out. After years of poor contracts, trading draft picks and prospects away and getting everything back in return, getting their draft prospects and everything else in line. Now you got yourselves a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, they're only six, they're going to be game 7 tonight, but I'm just saying this, you know, don't count your checks yet, everyone. You can't do it. There's no way. I'm just saying, you know, the real shit begins after Thanksgiving. This is basically the opening act. It just gives you a false sense of, opportunity and hopefulness and chances. But the real stuff begins after Thanksgiving, and then the stock market and the NHL teams and players' performances, they go up and down. And I'll tell you, it's going to be one hell of a, rest of the month of October. But, you know, I got to say this, wait and see for the next coming up. All right. And I got to tell you, I'm just straight up excited to see, some good games on tonight. I mean, we only got 3 games. Yeah, straight up 3 games. And I'll tell you, the current event, let's just put it this way, it's just been kind of eh. And people tell me, oh, the NBA's on tonight. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about 3-pointers, and those guys are so fragile. I mean, I'd rather watch soccer right now than watch basketball. I love the sport, but the NBA is so damn soft. All right, now we got right here interesting news that the Olympic send-off is off. It's canceled, and the NHL did the right choice by giving the New York Islanders UBS Arena the All-Star game for next season. Good choice, good choice. I love it. Oh yeah, I'm very happy with it. Very happy with it. And also, for the Detroit Red Wings, your former defenseman, Jake Wallman, nice knuckle puck last night for the game-winning goal in overtime. But what the hell? You got nothing in return. Got future considerations, and while the Sharks got a first-round pick out of it, when they traded him to Edmonton and gets a new $49 million contract. What the hell were you guys thinking? Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah, I mean, what the hell were y'all thinking? Oh, yeah. So, top of that, so tomorrow we'll be back with another episode, 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. So basically be patient because, social media has been not my friend lately, with with all the algorithms. I can't even post anything like the max is 20 minutes. But hey, I'm going off the grid on this one. I'm like Roy, not going back to the carpet store. I am not going back to the carpet store. Boo. Oh yeah. So so be on the lookout on YouTube and on Rumble and Instagram, etc. This has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. We'll be back on the air tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy the NHL and hockey all around.